fight from within. You're about to go behind enemy lines.
Roger, 3-2. Goliath copies all. Go ahead. Target is surrounded by multiple firms entering what appears to be a residential area. Requesting permission to engage. Over.
From the People's Republic of New York City, you're now going behind enemy lines with Gene Baradelli and Russ Gallo. And you are now behind enemy lines. Hey there, how you doing, America? Gene Baradelli here with you. So glad you can join us, whether you're listening at www.behindenemylinesradio.us, or if you're checking us out on AM radio, FM radio, the internet radio, whatever it may be, or if we're traveling along with you as a podcast. We're happy to be along for the ride. On the line, Russ Gallo is back. How you doing, bro?
Gene, what's going on? I enjoyed my visit to the secret lair the other day.
Yes, the trek out here. I'm glad you enjoyed it. We enjoyed having you here. You know, I'm glad we can get you out of the city.
It doesn't happen often, but I enjoyed the trip. I had a blast with you, and I'm a little upset about the other news you shared with me that there's some other outfits that stole our most of our material.
That kind of. Yeah, they kind of like boosted our tires, didn't they? For those who don't know what we're talking about, we found a show. And listen, more power to them. Imitation is a serious form of flattery and all that. There's a show that's just started out called, I think it's called the Half Hour Liberty Hour out of Portland, Oregon, who claim that they are behind enemy lines in the People's Republic of Portland, Oregon. I've heard those phrases somewhere before.
Yeah, and I think that they drink during their show, which Gene and I have been rumored to do the same a few times in the past.
I shall neither confirm nor deny, but yes, we do drink. And I have to say, like I said, imitation is the sincerest form of flattery. We're not going to be going great guns after nobody. Listen, I'm happy to accept them into our little world if they want to be. So guys, if you're out there listening, which we kind of assume you are, seeing as how we've been doing this a while and you guys just started and we're saying the exact same thing, drop us a line. We're happy to talk to you. Right, Russ?
They have to be fans because, I mean, they stole it word for word pretty much. All right, so what are we talking about right now, Dean? I have a picture of a crazy black woman with a cowboy hat on my computer. Why?
Well, that's your personal issues, and I don't really understand you half the time, but whatever. Listen, we got a great show. We have Alireza Jafarzadeh. That was really hard for me to say, but he's a foreign policy analyst, Fox News contributor, and a spokesperson for the National Council of Resistance of Iran. And we'll be talking about the Iran deal and what the decertification actually means instead of me rambling about it like I did last week. But first, Russ Gallo. I don't know if you know this, but there's a little bit of a controversy between President Trump regarding the death of a soldier and the call that President Trump made to the widow that apparently some kooky congresswoman from Florida overheard, stirring up a whole controversy. Let's get into this for a second. Let's get the facts out there, and then I'm going to have the Russ Gallo take. Frederica Wilson, congresswoman from Florida, claims that President Obama, my goodness, President Trump had said basically offensive comments to this Gold Star widow in calling to give condolences for the death of her husband, claiming that President Trump said, quote, he knew what he was getting into, and that President Trump was insensitive to this woman and, made her cry and all these things, and accusing President Trump of caring about nothing but himself and all this other stuff that the left seems to be doing. Once again, the left standing on the dead, Russ.
Oh, well, they've been known to dance on graves. Yeah, that's what they do.
So, as a reservist and a former active duty soldier, you've been overseas. I'm sure you've known your share of people who have not made it back. There is no easy way to do this kind of call, right?
I mean, even if it wasn't a service member, Gene, just imagine calling someone's widow. That's got to be the hardest call you can make just as a human being. For the left to attack a man, probably arguably the busiest man on the planet right now, who took time out of his busy schedule to make personal phone calls to the widows of soldiers who were killed in action. To somehow say that the president was insensitive or made inappropriate comments is just astonishing to me. And the hypocrisy, where were these same people when President Obama was singing the praises of Bergdahl and other atrocious behavior when it came to the military under President Obama? Where was this fake news media? It's disgusting. I mean, Miller's statement really was I don't know if you watched it, Gene.
Oh, I did. The chief of staff,
yes.
Absolutely. His speech was amazing.
20 minutes long. He said it to the press. He only took questions from either Gold Star family members or reporters that knew a Gold Star family member, which, by the way, I'd like to rewind that tape and point out. I'd like to investigate the reporters that claim to know Gold Star family members, if they really do know them and who they are. I'm just curious because I have a feeling they were lying there too. But he put it, if you haven't watched it, you got to Google it. Just Google Chief of Staff Miller, press briefing, and any keywords that have to do with this. And it will break your heart because he discusses his own son who was killed in action. And he talked about how President Trump basically asked him, should I make these phone calls? Have other presidents made these phone calls? And he explains the whole behind-the-scenes, chain of events that led to these phone calls being made. And it's just really astonishing that the left is picking this. Gene, I got to be honest, I'm getting tired of winning. I mean, I think that President Trump during the campaign said that we would eventually get tired of winning. I'm exhausted.
By the way, we're talking about John Kelly, of course. We've been saying Miller. I don't know why we said that, but John Kelly, of course, who we're talking about. We've been drinking.
Wow,
I gotta be honest.
Miller. Miller was doing a statement the other day. Hold on a minute. What was Miller talking about?
There was once a chief of staff, Stephen Miller. I remember from back in the day, but we're talking about John Kelly. And like I said, Russ and I have been drinking. It's okay. We're gonna get together. Don't you worry, folks. But yeah, if you listen to John Kelly's remarks to the press, which by the way, there's never been more perfect of a smackdown to the press than anything else. We have all these stories breaking. We're going to be talking about, the Iran decertification deal. And we're going to be talking about the real Russia collusion scandal that's rocking Washington right now. Real news. But in the meantime, we're talking about a cowboy hat wearing crazy Democrat congresswoman who, by the way, this has maybe been underreported in this whole thing. She has a little more than a vested interest in this family. Apparently, this family she has known since the deceased, I believe, and the widow were children. And she knows the family from a former life as being an educator and a school administrator, I believe, and saw these people grow up and considered them to be almost part of her family. So, when news comes out that the family has been backing up the congresswoman in the remarks that were said, and again, we haven't really heard anything other than the parroting of this congresswoman, I don't find that to be anywhere near as reliable as it would be, say, from someone who was actually on the call. You know what I mean? I just think that because of that relationship there, that, the congresswoman will lie and people who are close to her will swear by it. And, to me, this whole thing is, please let this woman keep talking, Russ. I want her to keep talking because the more she talks, the more the Democrats look bad. And the more the Democrats look bad, the easier it's going to be for 2018 to come around and for Republicans to not only maintain their seats, but pick up seats, especially in the Senate.
I'm laughing because I'm just thinking, Gene, of the cast of characters that the Democrats have trotted out. I mean, can you...
Oh, let's run it down. Let's run it down right now. I mean, you can start at the top with Pelosi and Schumer, and then you go down the crazy train to Maxine Waters and Frederica Wilson.
Right, I got Pelosi, Schumer. I'm going to throw Hillary in there, too. But you got
throw Warren in there. Throw Elizabeth Warren in there. Throw Bernie Sanders in there.
Sheila Jackson Lee. I mean, this is like a cast of characters. We often joke about the Star Wars bar scene, but this is really unreal. I don't even remember that guy that used to play the clip a lot when he said that Guam was going to capsize if it kept on growing in population. I don't even remember who that guy was.
Could that be the Miller that we were thinking of? That might be. Hang on, I'm going to look that up as you're talking.
That one. That was a hilarious.
Oh yes, Guam is going to capsize. I remember that as clear as day. We used to play that all the time too. But it's true. The cavalcade of crazy is amazing. It was Hank Johnson, Russ, Congressman Johnson, yes, who by the way was reelected in 2016.
Oh, there's no doubt. Come on. I mean, Wilson, Waters, Pelosi, Pelosi is rumored to have like some form of Alzheimer's disease where she can't, like, if you ever watch her video, she can't even string sentences together anymore. She has a hard time recalling who the president is. It's astonishing.
No, it's not that,
She's
Russ.
like,
it's the stupid. The stupid is contagious.
I don't
That's
even
what it
know
is.
anymore.
But listen, let's get back to this right now. Why does the left, and by extension the media, continue to push these crazy stories? This doesn't help them at all. Why are they doing this?
I'm curious myself. Could it be that the media live in such a tight bubble that they believe that these stories are hurting Donald Trump? I truly believe that all of this nonsense is going to help him get reelected in a larger margin than in the previous election. I mean, look at the NFL, Gene. I'm looking at stadiums. During the day, I'm just looking through Twitter pictures that have got sent out over the weekend. NFL stadiums that are more than half empty. Why? Why is that true?
It's because people don't want their politics mixing with their pleasure, with their entertainment. You bring up a great point, though, Russ. Just recently in the New York Post, a former CEO of NPR put an op-ed in admitting to a liberal media bias and talked about how he went outside of his echo chamber for a year, went on different hunting excursions with people, went to different areas that he wouldn't normally travel to, like Youngstown, Ohio, that has really been hit, with the Obama administration policies, and was a big reason why President Trump won, to go see what it was like in these areas. And he went up and said, you know what? This was good for me to see because I can understand what conservatives are really thinking. They're not who we portray them to be. So I think you're starting to see the walls crumble a little bit in the liberal media bias that is pervasive in all these urban areas that we are a part of here in the People's Republic of New York.
But it truly is a mental disorder, Gene. So even if one or two of them see the light, it's not going to make a difference. I mean, Project Veritas, our good friend over there, just exposed the New York Times. One of their top people admitting that, they got to do what sells, and what sells right now is to attack Donald Trump.
It's a 4-part series, standard. Absolutely. It's a great series by James O'Keefe.
Yeah, James O'Keefe did a great job, as usual. I mean, isn't that the paper of record, as they say? Like, it's just nonsensical. Gene, it's a mental disorder. They'll never truly understand what the average American, and by average American I really mean conservative, is thinking about and what they really care about. I mean, Donald Trump, he put the Clintons and the Bushes out of business, right? He made John McCain and Mitt Romney look like the fools that they were when they were running. He got the Democrats and the media, this is important here, the Democrats and the media, to openly side with millionaire immature babies who would kneel during the national anthem. Now, the NFL gets the military to open up their games with flyovers and flag unfoldings and all this high-speed military stuff. Donald Trump got the Democrats and the media to publicly side with people who disrespect our flag and our national anthem. I mean, this man's unstoppable. I'm exhausted, Gene. We're winning way too much. Way too much.
Too much winning for Russ Scallo. Absolutely. Listen, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, our interview with Alireza Jafarzadeh from the National Council for Resistance for Iran. And we'll be talking about the Iran nuclear deal and a little bit of political history, political culture about Iran, and why you can't trust the government of Iran because you're not really ever talking to the real government in Iran. Gene and Russ behind enemy lines. We'll be back right after these brief words. If you're a long-time listener of the show, or maybe this is your first time listening, you can probably tell that me and the gang here, we like to have our share of fun, whether it's on or off the air. We talk about 2-drink minimum radio and no medication Wednesdays or whatever day it may be. That's why when we found the people at Less Government, More Fun, we knew it was a match made in heaven with this show. Folks, we live in a time where government is out of hand. Our founding fathers did not intend government to be all-consuming in all parts of our lives. That's why we are telling you to go to lessgovmorefun.com, check out the website, check out the swag. What the people want is less government, more fun. Pass it on, make it happen.
Who might you save?
Your mother, your father, your husband, uncle, aunt, son.
Learn FAST, F-A-S-T, the sudden signs of a stroke, and you could save.
Your friend, teacher, boss.
F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty. T, time to call 911. F-A-S-T. That's F, face drooping. A, arm weakness. S, speech difficulty.